President Lyndon Johnson once said, "A man without a vote is a man without protection." We belong to a demographic with the lowest voter turnout rate among the generations, and that is the millennial generation. As a political science major, I've taken interest in this topic, especially with it being an election year. It has led me to believe that citizens should be engaged in the political process of their respective nations. So not only am I going to talk about the problem of the low voter turnout rate among millennials, I'm going to discuss some possible causes and some possible solutions. So let's begin with addressing the problem of low voter turnout rate among millennials. So according to Asma Khalid's NPR article, millennials now rival boomers as a political force, although they actually vote, written in May of this year. Millennials make up an increasingly large share of eligible voters, but they vote at much lower rates than other generations. So this graph here is illustrating a bit of what the article was talking about. This green line here, this represents the number of eligible voters among millennials, and it shows how we are now comparable to the baby boom generation in terms of eligible. So this is a problem because a good portion of our voices as millennials are not being heard in the political process. This graph here shows the voting rates of each generation for the past few presidential elections. And as you can see, we're on the bottom line here, and we have the lowest rate among all generations. Let's examine why millennials aren't showing up to the ballot box. Colin Brennan and Christy Cook of USA Today wrote an article called "Why College Students Aren't Voting and Why It Matters," written in September 2015, stating that young adults don't feel they have a stake in the community as older adults do. We also have Janelle Ross, who did a piece for the Washington Post titled "Why Don't More Americans Vote in Presidential Elections?" in May of this year, written in May of this year, pointing to voting registration and the inconvenient day of the week that we have to vote as possible problems that are causing low voter turnout rate. So those two articles is they're kind of touching on two different aspects of the problem. The first aspect is that of an aspect that which the government can only confront in terms of voter registration, in terms of possibly changing the day that we vote. And the second aspect is dealing with millennials themselves in terms of political apathy and not feeling connected to the community that they're a part of. So now let's explore some possible solutions. Kira Lerner did a piece for Think Progress titled "5 Ways to Fix America's Dismal Voter Turnout Problem" in February of 2015, sharing possible solutions, including making registration easier, voting easier, and even voting online. So her piece addresses mainly the problems that the government can address more so than the base voters. And then the second part of the solution involves the millennials themselves. Millennials should become involved in organizations that will contribute to their political socialization overall. So for that aspect of the solution, it's important for millennials to become involved in politics in some way, shape, or form. This could mean that they become involved in the political parties directly, the major political parties, or it could mean that they become a part of sort of apolitical organizations in the sense that they don't push a specific ideology in terms of American conservatism or American liberalism. organizations will do is that you'll become involved in the community through these organizations, so you'll feel that you belong to the community. And you'll see how policies affect these communities while you're working in them. And with that, you'll become more informed. And when you're more informed, you'll be more likely to vote in elections. Here are just a few examples of these sort of apolitical organizations that once again don't push necessarily conservatism or liberalism, but do great work not only in the community but in the world at large. And being a part of these organizations will contribute to your political socialization, make you feel connected to the community, make you more informed on policies that may affect the community. I believe these solutions are viable and should be implemented. So not only did we discuss the problem, which is the low voter turnout rate among millennials, we discussed some possible causes and possible solutions. And it kind of leaves us with the challenge of just becoming involved, whether that means becoming involved in political parties directly or becoming involved in organizations like on the slide here, not pushing ideology per se, being involved in the community. It's very important for us to become involved in the political process of this nation, because I believe our democracy depends on our voice.